Oh, I
Any
used
other
to
tactics?
use spaced repetition also. But I had this thing, so like, I think something I didn't know before was that you finish your content for all your subjects around like May, June, and I didn't know that until I actually finished the content. So in Sec 4, you finish it in May and June, and then you have like so much time to memorize and do your TRS and everything. So one thing I used to do, once I knew that, okay, I got down all my topics for each subject, I made, on like sheets or like Excel on Google Sheets, I would make like a document with like all the subjects, and then each subject would have their own sheets with like all the topics. And so whenever I used to revise one of the topics, I would like put like in that row that date, and then let's say that if I revise a topic and I felt like, oh shoot, I forgot so much of this, then I would color code it red. And then I would make my way throughout the list, and then I would, okay, let's say the next subject is, I felt like, oh okay, I'm okay, I'm so with it. Then I color coded yellow. Then like if I'm okay with it, I color coded green. So I did this technique, and it's something that I also saw on YouTube, and it helped me a lot. And so I would work on the subjects that were in red such that I can make them to green before my exam. So like in the end, all my topics, you can see like all the dates I studied each of the topic and how they progress from red to green at the end before my paper. So I used to do that for every subject.
Dang.
And that really helped me to like affirm my understanding, and also because I spaced my revision out, I got many topics from many different subjects revised during that period of time, and it slowly progressed from something I was like really like I couldn't remember, oh, I learned this, to something that I'm very confident about and really understood it really well before the paper. So that makes sure that I ensure my understanding for all my topics across all my subjects, so that it made me much more confident before I take the paper.
Dang. Okay, so there are two things I want to ask. Okay, one thing is I want to point out. So when I was a student, right, I also did something similar but not as advanced, naturally. Because I had a big exam coming up, right? And I have all these topics of all these subjects. So I need to put them all in one place to make sure I tick everything like a checklist, right? So I wrote on this like paper, I wrote, okay, bio, then 1, 2, 3, 4, all the topic names. And then I'll just tick. I'll make sure everything is ticked by the end of, like, before the exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just a simple checklist. And it's funny, a lot of students will not do this.
Yeah.
It's just covering all your bases, right? Yeah, but for you prioritize also of like which needs more attention.
Yeah, like the ones would be in red, I'd like study more. Or like the
Okay.
harder topics would be in red usually.
Did you have to do... Okay, so let's say we are doing in this revision period of a few months before prelims, right? Then did you have to go to that red topic twice? Or like just after one time of properly, it becomes green?
Yeah, sometimes that happens too. Because like maybe it's a subject that was taught quite far back, and so I just needed like 2 lessons at least to like make sure that my understanding of it was good enough. Because like you also have to know that like so many other subjects, so many different topics, so then you like space your time accordingly. And also because you have this list of the dates you study each topic, it also shows you and like displays your revision. So you know, oh, I'm studying bio too much, I need to study math.
Oh yeah.
So like you can see how to space your time accordingly, so that you improve your time management that way on how you manage the time you have to study before the paper.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's very high effort and very conscientious.
It is high effort, but it's like I just used to rely on this.
That's good.
So
That's
that
good.
was good. Yeah.
Okay, so basically have a checklist of all topics, prioritize based on worst to best, and then have dates to give yourself proof also. And like I guess it keeps yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would revise this whole checklist, and I only have like a few topics of each subject. Then accountability.
And you don't have to like, because time is also crucial. You may not have to study all the topics.
Correct.
Maybe like enzymes, something that I felt was quite easy. Then like I just memorized it once and it's like green already.
Yeah.
So it's like you can like make sure you utilize your time properly.
When I was in Sec 3 or 4, right, there's this guy in my class, and he says that this is how he studies. He'll open the textbook to the first page, the first chapter, cells, and then he'll read through. Then like, huh? So every exam you do this? Then he's like, yeah. So he would be very good at the first few, right? Cells, all that. Yeah, that all the rest, the harder stuff, he would know that. Yeah, so that's not a good strategy, okay? Don't follow that. Yeah, prioritize based on what's the best. That's good. So wait, back to another thought I had was, in that revision period, you know, enzymes, you're just one time you're done, right? What about other hard topics? Like, were there ever topics where you had to do more than one time? More than one round?
Yeah, definitely. Like
Oh.
transport and humans
Okay.
was one of the things that, because it's like there's so much content within that one topic. So my first, like let's say my first time I do it, I revise. It's like a yellow. It would mean that I feel like, okay, I understand everything that's going on. I think I remember everything, but I'm not confident in it. Like if you ask me like a week later, I probably would have forgotten some stuff. So, oh yeah, so another thing I used to do like right before the exam to make sure that I knew everything, and that if they tested me on some very like small minor thing that was in the syllabus but I just didn't recall, what I do before some exams or like few weeks before the exam is like, for one topic I just blurt everything out. During the revision thing, blurt everything I know out, like messily on a piece of paper. And then once I like blurt everything I can think of for that topic, I would go back and check the content like in my notes and see what I've forgotten. Then like that helped me to highlight like small minor things that are like, they love to test like small minor things that people always overlook during the paper so that they can like try and catch you.
Yeah.
So like once you like, oh, notice all these things, you won't forget them anymore because you're like, shoot, I forgot it just now when I was blurting. Now I won't forget it anymore because you made like a mistake. It's like when you make a mistake during your paper, it's good you make mistake because then you will remember not to repeat the mistake. Something like that.
Yeah. So actually that's a good method. One way to achieve something like that before the exam is to just look at your past corrections.
Oh yeah.
That's the same, right? Because it's like, oh, I made a mistake before, I'm not going to make it again. Yeah, so look at like, for my classes, my tuition classes, if you're attending, then look at your homework answers. Because I have a lot of trick questions inside to make people make mistakes. Look at the questions that we go through during class. Look at your past WA1. Look at your school worksheets for the normal chapters worksheets. Your TYS practice. Yeah. So if you look at corrections, it's like such an easy hack to increase your grade by quite a lot. But a lot of people don't do it. They just, I know because I didn't also. I slacked off. Then there was this time where I was like, I don't know, 3 or 6 months ago, I made some mistake, okay? And this was in secondary school for bio. So I made some mistake. Then I wrote the corrections in green. Okay, then it was time for the exam. So I checked my past corrections. I saw that one. And then I was like, wait. I'm going to cover the answer. I'm going to try, okay? Then I say the answer. Then I look, no, I got the same mistake 6 months ago as now. Yeah, so it sucks. And it shows me that like people make the same mistakes again and again. So by reviewing that, right, then I save myself lah. Because if I didn't review in the exam, I'll make the same mistakes as 6 months ago, right? Yeah, but because I saw it, then at least I saw that, okay, this is the correct answer. Yeah, so reviewing corrections, so simple, right?
Like I did something like that as well because I knew I'd always lose my papers, and because they were like worksheets and stuff, they'd get messed around. I'd file them wrongly, or I wouldn't file them. That was something like a big mistake I didn't do. It's like when you receive your worksheet and your notes, you file them immediately in your file so that you can like look back before your paper on all your corrections and stuff. And so something I used to do was like hard questions, like questions that really got my brain thinking, or like things that the questions would test my content that I've overlooked. Like those questions, I just take a picture and then collate like those hard questions so that you can test yourself as you go on. And also it's important to like take note of these hard questions because like sometimes the exams will like rephrase the question but test you on the same topic. So it's like that you also got the hard questions checked in before your paper.
You know those hard questions? So when I was in JC for bio, I wrote this page called suck list, the stuff I suck at, for bio. And then I wrote all those hard concepts that I sucked at. Like, example, one of the inheritance thing, which was very particularly hard, I didn't understand. So maybe if I was O-level, what I would write on that is probably like cardiac cycle, or like blood pressure explanation questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then you have that list, right? So before the exam, you make sure that everything you understand, they tick off.
Yeah. I think like that's so important so that like the one thing in the beginning of the year that I wanted to ensure I got before I took the paper is that I don't want to be terrified before I take the paper. Because I used to be like super, super scared before I take the paper. Like I really need to rely on a miracle to do well. Sometimes I felt like that because like maybe I like procrastinated and studied the night before, like in my previous years in Sec 3 and whatever. So my goal was my most important goal for the year was that before I take my exams, before I take my O-levels, I just want to be excited and be happy and just not be scared.
Yeah.
And that was so important so that I don't like have a panic attack of, because I was afraid that I like would get really anxious while I'm taking the paper, and that would just ruin everything. I don't get a second chance at this. So I just wanted to make sure that my confidence was at a level that I don't become a victim of fear.
Dang. And that's true. Like, a huge factor for our confidence and our state of mind is how prepared we feel. Okay, this is an unrelated example, but it's the same concept. So, as a teacher, right, in the past, I would have a document. I'll type out the outline of my lesson and all the stuff I'm going to teach, right? But it's not word for word, it's just an outline. And that takes me like 1 to 2 hours to prepare. Then when I actually teach the lesson, I'll look at the outline as I'm teaching and start like, okay, that's the point I'm going to talk about. Then I teach, right? Now here's the problem. When I watch my lessons back, right, I notice that, okay, if I'm a student, I'll be so bored. Because I play at 2 times speed, right? I'm still bored. So that means I'm talking too slow and I am not fluent because it wasn't fully rehearsed, you see? So every time I taught, it was a bit like, I'm scared. That I wasn't confident. So that state of mind is not good.
Yeah.
Then now how I do things is I rehearse the whole lesson out as if I'm teaching it. Like I draw everything that I will draw. So it's all planned already. So when I actually do it, it's like, oh, I've done this before. And I can refer to exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm way more fluent now. Like I speak faster. I teach faster. It's less boring. Yeah. And now people say, hey, a bit too fast. But it's good. It's a bit too fast means you're going to improve because I'm going to force you to get to that speed. Yeah. So now, unrelated example, but I agree. Preparation makes you feel way more confident.
Then it's like easier for you to carry out lessons too, right?
Yeah.
Like when you have that practice that you feel like you feel less nervous. Oh, I've rehearsed it already. Things are just, they flow much more better, and you're more yourself, so you're able to teach it better too.
Correct, you're more yourself. So if you're taking the exam and you've already prepared so well, then you can really be yourself. Like the anxiety doesn't like destroy your focus and concentration.
Yeah.
Okay, the downside is when I did this rehearsing method, now every lesson takes like 6 to 8 hours to prepare of actual work. So it needs to spread over a few days. And so same thing for the studying, right? If you want to be entering an exam with the right state of mind, you need to do so much more work in the revision than most students do, to achieve that. Yeah. But then, I mean, the payoff for you was good.
Yeah.
So it's up to students. Do they want to follow your footsteps or not? So if you like that clip, click here to watch another. And if you want to watch the full podcast, click here.